Hi everyone, my name is Kim. I just did a video on ENTP'S and I think I'm on the last type. So I'm going to talk about ENTP'S when they're under stress, the loops and the grips they fall into when they're under a lot of stress. ENTP'S, they are, they've always chasing ideas and they're very innovative, and they're intellectual, like clever and quick-witted, just outgoing people, and they like to like the INFPs and maybe any intuitive type. ENTPs like to go down rabbit holes. They like to deep dive, talk about interesting topics. So yeah, that's ENTPs. Now let's go into their loop. So their loop is NEFE. Okay, so this makes them chase ideas. They're chasing these ideas, like crazy, and it just, when they're doing that, they get really, excited and exuberant. But this is done to extreme, just chasing all these new ideas, and it's kind of like scattered, when they do this, and they're kind of all over the place, chasing one idea to one idea, just all these ideas, it's like they're in a whirlwind of ideas, and so that's what happens when they're in their loop, the NEFE loop. They just focus on a lot of ideas, and chasing after them, and really not committing to, an idea, to, use one idea or maybe just a couple, but when they're in this loop, it's just too many ideas, and it's chaotic. So they're bypassing. So it's the NEFE loop. So they're bypassing their second function, TI. They're not using TI. TI is what helps them to, to kind of break things down and see if an idea or concept makes logical sense, if it's consistent or if it's not consistent. And so that's, and also TI is associated with accuracy, and TI, they analyze ideas or concepts, things like that. And so that function is an ENTP's analytical side. So they have an analytical side, but, their extroverted intuition, they can come up with some interesting topics to talk about. That's all coming from NE. Anyway, going off topic here, but so they're bypassing introverted thinking, which helps them to see if an idea or concept or something see if it's logical and makes sense. Also, they're bypassing their SI. They are bypassing their SI, and their SI is what helps them to have somewhat of a routine and some structure and just helping them to, even though it's SI is lost for them, but it gives ENTPs, helps them to have some structure in their life, to schedule things, to plan things, to have a bit of a routine, which ENTPs find very hard to have some sort of a routine or structure in their life. They just don't want to be tied down, I guess. They just want to do what they want, chasing ideas and inventing things. They may come up with some wacky inventions or something. Also, ENTPs are known, they're good debaters. They're known to be the debaters. So if you're debating with an ENTP, it's going to be interesting. It's going to, it's like, put your seatbelt on and just, sit back and enjoy the debating ride, Okay, so I think I mentioned the functions they're bypassing. TI, SI. I think that's it. Okay, so that is the NE-FE loop. Okay, so now we're going to talk about when they're under a lot of stress. They go into the SI grip. Now, the SI grip, when they're in this, there is too much attention to details. They are, too much of focusing on details, and since they're only an SI, they're bypassing their dominant function, extroverted intuition. So they're not using it. SI is not about coming up with ideas and possibilities for ENTPs. So when ENTPs are in this grip, they're not using their extroverted intuition. They don't have all these brilliant ideas and just to tinker with things, invent something. When they're in SI, they're not doing those things, and they enjoy doing those things. Coming up with ideas, right on the fly. And putting, these creative ideas, just putting their whole being in them. But when they're in the grip, the SI grip, they're not thinking about ideas, going down rabbit holes, talking about deep, interesting things. SI is not about that. They're also bypassing their FE. They have FE third. So FE helps them to, they are kind of a chaotic personality type, but when they're in the FE, when they are in FE, they want to be included in a circle of a group of people, and it just helps them to just really see people, that they have value, So ENTPs, when they're in FE, they really start to see people as being valuable, and just good, they have good positive vibes, with people. So they're bypassing FE. They are bypassing, okay, let's see here. I mentioned extroverted intuition. I mentioned extroverted feeling. Mentioned introverted thinking. Okay, so I think I have mentioned all the functions they're bypassing. But yeah, SI, they go to people, for validation. When they're in the SI grip, they go to people with validation. They're very, they overly worry about that. And also in this this grip, they get depressed. They get discouraged, depressed, and they're just not their, bombastic, extroverted, discovering ideas person. That's generally how they are. But when they're in just SI, the SI grip, all of that is just sucked out. And they're just left with, using an introverted function, SI. SI is not about coming up with new ideas. SI it's about routines. It's about planning. It's detail-oriented. And generally, ENTPs, like SI is last for them. And not a lot of them go into SI because of the whole the routine, the structure, the details and all that stuff. Most of them are not in SI. Most of them are in their NE, TI, and FE. But I can understand, just being in their SI, because they're the kind of people that want to learn new things. They want to do research on different things. They're curious individuals. And they're exploratory. They're NE. It's what makes them exploratory. Exploring new possibilities, new ideas. And they get a lot of them. So it's hard for them to figure out, which one is a good idea. What's the possibilities there? Anyway, that is the grips and loops that ENTPs fall into when they're under a lot of stress. So I hope all you ENTPs out there, I hope maybe you can learn from this information and be able to recognize when you're under stress, when you're in the NE-FE loop, or if you're in the SI grip, be able to recognize those situations. All right, I am going to say goodbye, and I hope you guys have a good rest of the day. Bye.